Hi, my name is Daria, and today I want to talk about someone fired with cause versus without cause. When someone is fired with cause, it means they did something bad. For example, if a cashier takes money from the registered tills, the employer can fire them right away. This is because the employee broke the trust of the workplace. When someone is fired with cause, the employer does not have to give them notice or severance pay. This is because the employee's actions were very wrong. On the other hand, someone can be fired without cause. This means the employee did nothing, but the employer still wants to end the employment. For instance, a company might have to reduce staff because business is slow. If an employee loses their job because of this, it is usually considered termination without cause. In this case, the employer must give notice of termination or severance pay according to the law. The main difference between being fired with cause and without cause is that with cause is because of misconduct. Without cause happens even though the employee did nothing. So here I'm talking about the discrimination based on disability under the Ontario Human Rights Code. An example of discrimination based on disability is when an employer refuses to hire someone just because they use a wheelchair. Let's say a qualified applicant applies for a job at a clothing store. They have the experience and skills. During the interview, the employer says they cannot hire them because the store does not want customers um, does not want customers seeing employees in wheelchairs. This is not allowed under the Ontario Human Rights Code. The law says that people cannot be treated unfairly because of their disabilities. Employers also have to make changes to help employees with disabilities. This can include things like adjusting workplaces or modifying job tasks. The goal of this law is to make sure people with disabilities have opportunities in employment and society. The third thing I want to talk about is discrimination based on origin. Discrimination based on ethnic ethnic origin happens when someone is treated unfairly because of their cultural background or nationality. For example, imagine a qualified candidate applies for a job. During the interview, the employer asks where they are from. After hearing that the person is Iranian, the employer says they prefer to hire someone Canadian born because customers might be more comfortable. This is discrimination based on the origin. The Ontario Human Rights Code protect people from this kind of treatment. The law exists to prevent people from being judged or excluded based on their background. Employers must evaluate applicants based on their qualifications and job performance, not their ethnicity. Example of discrimination. Now I want to talk about example of discrimination during a job interview. Imagine a woman applies for a job. During the interview, the employer asks whether she plans to have children. After she says that she might want children in the future, the employer decides not to hire her. They think she will take maternity leave. This is discrimination based on sex and family status. These are protected grounds under the Ontario Human Rights Code. The law protects applicants and employees from being treated. Employers should only ask questions that relate directly to the applicant's ability to perform the job. The fifth thing that I want to talk about is it illegal not to hire someone because they support a person like Donald Trump. Under the Ontario Human Rights Code, political opinions is not a protected group. This means that refusing to hire someone simply because they support a figure like Donald Trump would generally not be considered discrimination. However, employers still have to follow employment laws and workplace policies. If political views are connected to another protected ground, such as a religion or ethnicity, the situation could become more complicated. In cases, political supports alone would not be a violation of the Ontario Human Rights Code. Thank you so much for listening to me.